I don't know how to describe it other than like a demon type of sound.
But it's silhouetted, hulking, every bit of 5.5 feet wide, 13 to 14 foot tall, pitch black.
The one thing that ran through my mind when I had this encounter was I don't have a big enough gun.
Your host, two-time witness and field researcher for more than 40 years, William Jevning. Welcome to Creek Devil.
Hello everyone, welcome to Campfire Talk. This is where we sit around the fire, put our feet up with a cold drink, and let the conversation flow. Tom, you got an announcement you'd like to make before we get rolling?
Yeah, absolutely. I just want to thank everybody for tuning in. And if you like the show, you know what to do. Just click the like and subscribe if you haven't subscribed already, and we'll send you notifications. And by the way, you can also install the free YouTube notification app. YouTube has an app. I've got it on my phone, on my computer, and it tells me when channels that I've subscribed to have new content. You don't always get that when you just click the subscribe and say, send me, the latest stuff. So food for thought. You can check that out. Also, if you like the show and you want to support us directly, you can do so for as little as $1 a month. And on our YouTube channel, our YouTube page, we have a link to Patreon. You just click on that and follow your nose. It's pretty self-explanatory. And other than that, we are going to get started with the show.
All right. Well, I want to say something to some people out there who've asked me a couple of times. I've invited people on the show, the witnesses of Sasquatch encounters, and they've asked me, simple things about the show, like, what sort of show it is. It's a podcast. We do record. That way you, the witness, have control over the content. And what I mean by that is, after we've recorded, we talk beforehand, and then we do the recording, and then afterwards, usually we're on and we chat for however long the witness would like to chat with us. And if there's anything that you want out of the recording, that's the reason we record, is so that if you want anything out or changes, we can make those changes before the show airs. We want witnesses to be comfortable with what they record. So, having said that, guys, I sent this picture around, and the only reason I bring this up is because stuff on, and I don't know why, I look at Facebook, and I shouldn't. But there's things that pop up in there sometimes that are interesting. And there's a picture that's in the last few days making the rounds on all the different pages, and there's lots of comments, both pro and con, with different pictures and things. And usually I just kind of scroll over these things, but this picture, and I'll post this on the JRG Bigfoot research page on, when this show airs. So there is this picture we're talking about now, and I'll get to why it's relevant, but it shows a man on the left and on the right, and it's from TikTok, whoever published this, and it shows what is supposed to be a Bigfoot that's towering over this man, and there's a stick leaning against it, and a good friend of ours, and there's people that say it's real, people say it's not real. The people who say that it's an AI creation are the ones that are correct. And the reason I say that is because our good friend Adam, who's an FX professional in Hollywood for many, many years, and he works with photography for many big stars that people would recognize immediately. I won't say who, but we chat, and he talks about the different things, different people that they're fixing their images so that they look perfect on screen. And I showed him this, just as kind of a point to chuckle over. And he says it's obvious AI. He says there's two main things. Like he says, when he's played with AI and making Bigfoot images, and he sent us a whole bunch of them, Tom, what ones I'm talking about. The stick next to the purported creature in a picture is a common feature that AI does. AI sticks these kind of things in pictures, and He said another one is when you look at the number of toes on the foot, there's like 6 toes on this one. And then, David, you brought up a point. The man in the picture isn't casting a shadow.
Nope.
So, what do you guys think? I mean,
That was
if you also look carefully at the shoulder of the Sasquatch right above the man's head, you can see like a very faint white blurry line around it.
yeah.
Where you can tell where it was added in.
Oh, you're right.
David,
Yep.
that's interesting about the shadow. That was the very first thing I picked up on was I wanted to look at the shadows and on the facial shadows. And you're right. Yeah, the man is not casting a shadow. And even though the Bigfoot is standing kind of where where his shadow would be, it's still not there. The Bigfoot has a shadow and the man doesn't. So
I know people would say, oh, but the man's casting a shadow on its right leg.
exactly. Yeah. But the foot is a dead giveaway because Adam has done a lot of, he sent us a whole bunch of them. Just, hey, check this out. The AI generated, and quite often those things have feet that look just like this. And they have multiple toes or multiple, more digits than people do. And, they'll have 6 or more digits on the toes and on the hands. I got to tell you, I mean, it's an interesting picture. It's kind of neat looking. If you really were standing next to one of these things, I don't care who you are, you're going to be terrified. You're not going to be you're not going to have this very calm, hey, look at my buddy expression on your face.
You'd be standing there.
Not with,
Yeah, you'd be standing there with a package of Depends in one hand.
That's right. That's exactly right.
Well, speaking of package, if you notice, the Sasquatch is also missing his meat and 2 veg.
Wait, say that again,
It
David?
ain't there. The Sasquatch is missing his meat and 2 veg. He ain't there.
Okay.
Well, typically that's not something that's seen in an encounter anyway.
Yeah.
But in this picture, it looks like the way the hair's thinned out right there, looks like you'd see something.
Yeah.
It's not the first place I would
But
look.
moving
Though.
on.
I will say kudos to AI, but it's obviously AI.
Yeah,
and,
somebody had fun making it.
It's a
I'm
little bit scary that AI has reached this point, and who knows where it's going to be 2 years down the road, 5 years down the road. I don't know, but
well, obviously, guys, I'm going to jump in here. You're going to take one little photo with your big buddy there. I mean, that's all you're going to take is just one photo with the big guy.
that's a good point.
I would be taking photos. I'd be walking around. I got to go around there and see that big butt, And
where's Milo?
And my second, where's Milo when you need him? But I mean, why has Bigfoot got a walking stick? I mean,
that stick would be impaled into that man.
Well, if you look, it's not really holding the stick either.
No, it
Kind of
isn't.
leaning against.
Yeah, it just kind of seems, I don't know, it just seemed kind of really out of place.
Well, it's not really
That was
serving a
looking out
function
like
because
that.
it's not even up to his armpit like a crutch or something. So, yeah, he looks like Chewbacca. I mean, he's kind of a very lean-looking Sasquatch.
And
he's got a
knee pads.
hipster beard. That's good.
He's got knee pads.
Yes.
Yeah, he does.
Some kind of a growth on his knees there.
Or
Really?
in the Bigfoot football league.
Peculiar-looking knees.
Well, he could be a player in the Bigfoot football league too. He's partially uniform there.
That's why he's got a crutch.
Yeah, exactly.
He's an injured player.
Yeah, that's why I needed the walking cane. Too many years in the NBFL.
Well, and maybe it's the Bigfoot version of cricket or baseball. Who knows?
Oh,
or croquet.
You guys wanted to bring up this recent stuff that was going on with our friends.
Oh, are they friends?
Well,
somebody clarify that for me.
We've talked about
admirers.
You're right. Well, Tom, I don't know if you want to talk about the stuff that happened to you, but then this other stuff that was happening to Forrest almost simultaneously.
Yeah, it was. And I don't want to go into a whole lot of details. I worked 37 years. I'm still sort of in it. Information and IT security. And my Wi-Fi router started having a lot of symptoms, and it quit working. And I usually try to be very conservative when I just make some kind of a statement or come to a conclusion. But it had been hacked, and in order to hack it, had to get through all sorts of intrusion detection systems that I have in place. So if it's some hacker, over in Romania or Eastern Europe or something like that, they're going to have a real tough time. It's not going to be a soft target for them. So it got hacked, and it took me a few hours, but I was able to remediate it and restore things. But at the same time, we had a tiny little micro drone that was in our backyard. It would just show up, and it would make these, it looked like a hummingbird is what it was. And it'd make these loud kind of a electronic screech noise. And that's how we knew it was there. And then you'd see this thing, and it was just maybe 1.5 times the size of an actual hummingbird. So I'm guessing something that small, there was probably, I don't think it's going to fly a great distance. So what I wanted to do was get in my truck every time I saw it, but it'd be gone. Drive around and see if the controller of this thing was, if somebody was sitting in a van or a car somewhere controlling this. But it would come, zip around, and make some noise, and then it would be gone.
You need a pellet
gun.
And
it would. What's that?
You need a pellet gun.
Yeah, well, that's what my neighbor. I went into his backyard one time, my next door neighbor, and he's more than willing to introduce it to some pellets. So there's actually other things that can be done. I won't go into that. And but it was a daily occurrence, sometimes 2-3 times a day. And it would also, my wife goes on long walks, and it would, in one specific location on her walks, it would come up and come right up to her and then zip off. But this happened, and now the whole issue with the Wi-Fi, that happened to Forrest. I mean, identical situation, virtually identical.
It was almost simultaneously.
It was simultaneous, yes. And I think Chuck's got hacked as well.
Chuck did as well. And
yeah.
Chuck's not on here, but he told me that his did the same exact thing. And here's the high strangeness. He's been having helicopters coming over his house, and he's never had this before. It's just, all of a sudden he's having helicopters.
Here's the thing. I guess I just don't rate. You guys get helicopters, and all I get is the stupid hummingbird. I
don't get anything. I'm feeling left out, guys. I'm not getting anything. At least not that I'm aware of.
You were getting it on Skype. Remember that at every single time?
Yeah, the computer issues.
Oh, yeah. So, anyway, it was just, you're kind of connecting the dots. It seemed a bit odd. And we got some other, we're not going to go into details, but we were contacted by by electronic means. Again, no details, and at the exact same time, and it came from a very interesting source. So,
well, David, you've had some issues too with the internet, right?
Oh yeah, same as you.
Yeah, and somebody
at the
could
same
argue.
time sometimes.
Well, that's the whole thing. The timing is everything. And, people might argue, well, it is the computers and the internet that they can be persnickety at times and have issues. But when we're all having the exact identical problems at the same time. And I went in there and, just using my background and skill, I concluded this was definitely an external hack. This was not something else. That's what was going on.
And what interests me is the fact that I can be on my computer for hours in the morning before we get ready to record these sessions. No issues, no problems, nothing. Everything's working smoothly. I'm doing all kinds of stuff. And, within 10 minutes of us getting ready to record, because we message each other and say, hey, we're going to be starting here pretty soon. That's when the problems start.
Yep.
And
every time.
And another point, typically, like for the interviews, we'll record for an hour. That's about standard for us. It's what the system is kind of set up for. We can go a little over, but typically an hour, 60 minutes. We had one witness who was very good. We recorded an hour and 25 minutes, and for that first 60 minutes, it was absolutely unintelligible. I mean, it was just, I've never heard a recording so bad. But as soon as the 61st or 60 minutes was over, and the first minute after that, for the next 25 minutes, it was crystal clear.
Yeah.
Now explain that one.
No, it was very, very odd. Well, it's somebody has taken an interest.
Well, and we had a
something
witness.
else that I found out that.
Oh yeah, go
that
ahead.
I found that's rather disturbing. I'm sorry. That I found out was rather disturbing, and Jessica's the one that found this out, being that she used to be in Army intelligence. Do you know that these smart TVs that people can actually, if they're hacked into, they can actually watch you in your home?
Oh yeah,
they can.
Same with your computer.
Yeah. So you want to know how many?
Computers.
The number of free hacking tools out there, and I got this number, well, I didn't get it personally, but the number was reported by Richard Clark, who used to be, he actually worked for 20 years, so he worked for different administrations and different parties, both Republican and Democrat in the White House. And so he said at that time, and this is a number of years ago, he said the number of those tools out there was over 15,000 that it can, you can hack into TVs, smart TVs. One thing that can defeat that is electrician's tape over the microphone and over the camera. And hack away, man. You're getting nowhere.
Manufacturers are starting to get wise to some of that, though, because I just bought a new PC because the other one was having issues from all these things we've been talking about. So I bought a new one, and it doesn't have the camera or the microphone isn't visible. You actually have to pull up the device out of the monitor to be able to use that. Otherwise, it's down, it's hidden in its own little compartment, so it can't spy on you ostensibly.
Well, another way they can do it, they can send you an email, and you click on that email, and it'll put a bug in your phone or your computer, and then they can monitor everything you're doing. Yeah,
don't click on emails. Never, ever click on links that. If you don't know the person, and even if you do know the person, just if it's got a link in it, just that's interesting, and just don't touch it. David, you're 1,000% correct.
Sometimes they're sneaky too. You'll get an email, like I get them once in a while from Amazon or something, right? And it'll say in the heading something about your order. And I'm thinking, well, I don't have any orders. And of course, there's nothing
Always.
there, right? That's
what
just
you
an
do,
example.
If you look at who it's from, you can tell it's not really from that company because it's always different.
Right.
You
Yeah.
look at the return address. Yeah, exactly. David, you hit the nail on the head.
Yeah, you can.
You know, it's funny. Richard Clark said, you know, he was he worked for security, you know, for the White House for different administrations. He made a funny statement years ago. He said, if you're a career criminal and you haven't gotten into cybercrime, you should be sued for malpractice.
There was a show on Netflix, and I can't remember what it was called, but it was where they were looking at cyber criminals, and they highlighted several of them. They actually were got to talk to these people, and they explained how they did all these things, how they would, you know, steal money and do all the things they were doing. And I'm thinking, holy cow.
Well, a lot of it, yeah, it's they run underground, you know, the dark web. They run dark web sites that are as sophisticated as Amazon. I mean, they have digital shops that, and this was what, you know, 5 or 6 years ago. I attended a seminar for this, and they run these underground shops that are. They say, okay, we're taking bids now. I have 10,000 credit cards. We guarantee that these have a 24-hour. They have not been discovered yet. And, you know, they'll take a bid. You can buy a block of 10,000 credit cards, go to town on them. And if any of them come back as blocked, or, you know, they've changed the card number because the bank or somebody has discovered that it's been compromised, we'll give you a money back guarantee on all those cards. I mean, they run it exactly like a business. In these digital shopping centers, these underground digital shopping centers are, I mean, they I'm not going to name names, but they're formatted and designed exactly like online shopping that we do today, only it's on the dark web.
So,
very scary.
So tell me things can't be hidden with the subject of Bigfoot then, and other unusual topics as well.
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's and the hackers that hack in will spoof IP addresses, and, you know, there's just a lot of things that they can do. So you just really want to be extremely vigilant. I have a friend of mine and his wife. I used to go over to his house once a week and clean out all the malware off his computer, because his wife would go, "Oh, but it was so cute. It was a puppy." And I'm like, "No, stop it." They love people like you. "Oh, but I didn't. Oh, it didn't come up and say, hey, if you click the cute puppy, you're going to get a virus." No, obviously not.
You know,
or you're going to get 25 viruses.
I'll bet sites like Facebook are a magnet for stuff like that.
Oh,
I wouldn't argue that.
You know, you scroll through and you click on
Um,
something to look at it, and I mean, you could get stuff in your phone or whatever, or computer, whatever you're doing.
It's and people go, "Oh, well, I store everything on the cloud." Well, there's a funny meme out there from IT security guys. They said the cloud is really nothing more than somebody else's computer. It's all it is a server farm, just like every other, you know. So, I mean, I'm sure they do their best to try to protect, but you know, who are they going to target? Well, they're going to go where the money is. They want two things:
AT,
money and information. Yeah.
have you got a laser pointer by chance?
I do.
Next time that drone comes around,
I'll give it
hit
a
it with a
zap.
laser pointer.
Yeah. Well,
That'll take it down.
yeah. And it's the doggone thing is hard to see. You hear it, but we have so much trees and foliage. But if I see it, my wife has seen it, buzzing around and stuff. So yeah, I'll give her. The laser pointer we just use for the cat. You know. All right, here you go. The cat chases it around. That's a good idea. There's another thing you can do. Again, I won't go into details, but Yeah, very, very interesting. I'd like to hit it with about a 500 megawatt laser. Bam!
There you go.
So, Forrest, you had a helicopter at your place recently too, right? At night?
Yeah. And the strange thing about it was Tom and I were talking about just this situation here with the Wi-Fi while Jessica was trying to fix the Wi-Fi for our television and such, because she uses it on her, she goes in there in her room and she uses it, her phone, and she watches the Wi-Fi channels, and I watch it on the TV in here, and it was, I don't know what time it was, probably about 10-ish our time.
Yeah, it was,
and about 8-ish your time.
So it was well after dark.
And we were talking about the fact that, yeah, well, it was well after dark. And we were like talking about the fact that the Wi-Fi, both of our Wi-Fis had gone down almost simultaneously. And I look out I'm just kind of got my head turned. I'm looking out the window here to the north. Well, my window's face to the due north, but I was looking out to the northwest. And I can almost always see the planes and stuff when they're coming into to land, but they're way, way up there. You know, they have to come over my direction if they're coming from that way. They have to come over my house, but they're way up there in the sky, several thousand feet, not flying low, because the airport is just due southeast of me here. So anyway, I'm sitting here talking to Tom, and all of a sudden it's just like this thing pops up over the top of the trees out here, and it was all lit up, and it was a helicopter. It was quite evident. It didn't have running lights like a fixed wing plane, and it had a spotlight too on the bottom. And Tom's like yelling at me, "Get up and get a video! Get up and get a video!" So meantime, I've got a cat right in my lap, and so I'm trying to get Ninja off of me and get up and get my house shoes on and run around to the window to get the video. And Jessica had just walked out of the room, or else I'd have just screamed at her, "Get the video!" And by the time I get over to the window, it's literally coming over the top of the house. And so I ran into the laundry room, seeing if I could see it. Then I ran out the back door. And of course, there's too many trees out in the back. There was no way that I could get anything. So I really didn't get anything. And, Tom asked me, well, how high did it look like? And that thing couldn't have been more than maybe 200 feet above the ground here level. And because when I looked, it looked like it just, I have this oak tree, post oak tree, and they don't get real big. They're not like the Spanish oaks and such. And this post oak tree is right behind the cat house, and I could see it. It was just like it all of a sudden just popped out. Tom Romero, I went, "Oh my gosh, where'd that come from?" And it just like appeared behind the tree all of a sudden, and I did not see it coming, not at all. So it was just really bizarre.
So we're getting a little jumpy, with all this stuff going on. It could be argued that, well, you guys are just being paranoid. But, I would counter argument is, well, just because you're paranoid doesn't mean they're not after you.
Well, what did I tell you? I said, why are they doing this? What is it that we have said or done?
What's the interest?
That they need that they have taken an interest in.
I don't know.
I'll throw that out to you guys.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I'm still kind of bummed. No helicopters for me, and it's like you guys, you're the lucky.
Send them your way. Give me your address, and I will send them
right.
your way.
Well, they already have it. I'm sure of that. The Men in Black for Bigfoot. Yeah, that's.
Well, Forrest, having said all that. Have you had anything new happen out in your place?
No, not really. Ever since David, it's been 3 nights ago at 12:20, was the first time that the alarm had gone off. I mean, it's like, we were having regular occurrences at between 11 and 11:30, and then the next one would be like between 2 and 2:30, and then, usually after Jessica went to work, somewhere after there, sometimes it would be as early as 15, 20 minutes right after she walked out the door, then the alarm would go off, and then about 6 o'clock, right before daylight. And all of a sudden, I told you that one time it was so funny was that there was one of them at 2:30. I think it was 2:33 if I remember correctly. It sounded like a damn cow was falling off my back porch. I really think that there might have been two of them up there, and it scared them so bad they were falling over each other trying to get off the back porch. And I'm telling you what, David, that alarm is loud, and which kind of surprised me. And I think that my own personal feeling, I think they've been testing that door for a long time, and when that alarm went on there, that has surprised them, and it scared them. So
the one you're getting tomorrow,
an entire week and nothing happened, and then that one here like 3 nights ago at 12:20, and so that was kind of bizarre, and nothing after that.
The one you're getting tomorrow is a motion sensor alarm. You can hang it up wherever you want to, and it has a red flashing light, decibel alarm, like the door alarms I sent you, but it also has a thermal sensor, so you won't get any false alarms, like if the wind's blowing something around.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll be good. You can put it up wherever you want to in different areas and switch it up. That'll work even better than the door alarm.
Yeah, well, we did find something out last night. We were having horrible lightning strikes around here, and we had something that actually I thought the house had gotten hit, to be honest with you. And because Jessica and I both kind of met in the kitchen. We were both running from either end of the mobile home here, and because we heard a loud kaboom, and all of a sudden my whole bedroom lit up, and so did hers. And we were afraid that the house had been hit, so we went running outside of all things. We went out there to check on the horses, and my horses had actually run to the other side of the pasture and were all kind of congregated, and they were looking back up here. So I think that something actually got hit outside out here, but it wasn't one of the buildings, thank heavens. But when that boom happened, it actually set the alarm off. So that was kind of weird.
Well, they're sensitive enough. Even if you have enough static electricity to get near it, it'll set it off.
Well, maybe that's what set it off then, because it went off the same time we heard the, and it was obviously lightning. I mean, she checked it, and we had a lightning strike within a couple of 100 feet of the house. So it was pretty close.
Well, hopefully they're back in the woods now trying to figure out what to do since they can't mess with the doors anymore.
Well, I'll tell you what, they're smart, and that testing. See, that's what I said before. If you've got problems with them around your home and property, you want to change up the routine, because they will look for routines. They'll come in, they'll do, what they want to do based on what your routine is. And Forrest, when you see the different times that they would come in there and set the alarms off, that kind of tells you their pattern. So if you can disrupt their pattern by changing the pattern or changing the circumstances, it really messes them up.
Well, and also walk around your property with a great big stick, like a crutch. But it's not a crutch.
Oh. Are we back to that picture again?
We are.
Oh gosh.
Milo.
Well, what I want to know is what the heck do they have in mind why do they want to get in here? That's what bothers me.
They just want to say hello.
It's pork and beans. Okay. They want that can of pork and beans, and you still haven't given it to them.
That's
I'm gonna buy them a whole damn case of it and open every one of them and set them outside.
Oh, that could be a
Say,
bad.
"Here, boys."
Now that could be a bad situation. You think you got storms around there now?
Start feeding them. Oh.
What are those cats eating out there?
Yeah, right.
Oh, heavens.
Milo was trying to get on. His Skype was stuck, he said. So I told him to reboot his computer. I haven't heard from him. So
Yeah.
He's probably swearing at his computer.
Well, rebooting solves a multiple of issues at times. So
It does.
But for us, that would be kind of interesting, wouldn't it? To just leave a can of pork and beans outside and see what happens. See if it disappears. See if it ends up on the other side of the lawn.
They throw it at her.
If it comes flying through the window. Yeah.
Or ends up on my head. Well, but you know what, guys? Now stop a minute. Now think about this. You are giving the Bigfoot way too much credit. I that he, she, whatever gender it was, that conked me in the head with that can. Was it really the beans? I mean, I think I just left the beans out on the counter. I think that's what I did. I don't know. I mean, it's entirely possible it actually reached in that cabinet because that cabinet door was open and just grabbed, anything that was in there. I mean, we're assuming that it was after actually looked at the label and, oh, beans.
Well, it did, but I
like
think it was
beans.
upset because you didn't make any cornbread with it.
Oh, well, that could be, a good pot of beans has to be accompanied by,
Cornbread.
cornbread.
Got to wait for that for next time.
Good Southern soul food.
There you go.
Yep. Well, I don't know. I think we're giving the big boys way too much credit.
Probably so.
I think I could open up a can of corn out there, and they would probably be happy with that.
Most likely.
Okay, I'm hearing somebody breathing over the.
I was just thinking
the
that
phone.
myself.
Yeah, I hear it too.
It's me. I'm sorry.
Oh, Milo's the heavy breather.
Oh my! Heavy breather.
Of course. Well,
Then we thought we were just getting a pervert call. Doggone it.
I'm one of them.
How you doing, Milo?
I just got done getting the gardener. He was out there making so much noise. I was like, okay. I just had crap happen to Skype, and then they were still out there. So, hey, everybody's gone, and I'm on.
Cool. Hey, I don't know if you.
Let's today's subject.
Well, we started talking about that picture that was on Facebook. I sent you the two of you.
Okay.
You see it on your phone? Oh, maybe I didn't send it to you. Hold on. Let me send it to you.
I know you poked.
Let's see where we at here. Hold on. I thought I sent this to you, but I guess I didn't. So, there's a picture that's been making. This picture's been making the rounds on all the little groups in Facebook. You got it?
All righty. Did you send it on Facebook or
No, I just texted it to you.
Okay, yeah, I see it. The one with the tall guy and short guy.
Yeah, right. Well, you know Adam's background. He's a special effects guy in Hollywood, and he works with a lot of. They work with a lot of big stars where they make their images look perfect on screen. By getting rid of any imperfections. So he's very good at what he does, and he knows a lot about AI and all that. And I sent it to him just kind of jokingly, and he immediately shot back and he said, "Well, that's an AI picture." And he does. Wow. Adam doesn't just say things; he says why. He says there's two main features in the picture. With the creature on the right there's a stick kind of leaning up. It's not really holding it; it's just kind of there. And he said AI does that, and he sent me and Tom a whole bunch of just messing around Bigfoot AI created pictures, and lots of them have a stick like that in the pictures. And if you look down at the foot, see the foot looks really weird.
Yeah.
It's got like 6 toes and they're really bizarre looking. That's an AI thing too. When you look at AI pictures, and I've got a bunch of those in the computer that he made. And then things like, the shadow's not right with the man. And there's just, it's just, and you guys pointed out, David, you pointed out along the creatures, between the man and the creature, there's kind of a white line where it was, edited into the picture with the man.
Yeah.
So we were just kind of going over that, and then we were talking about all the weird things going on with computer interference and helicopters at forests again and chucks and just lots of strange things going on.
Well, I'm just curious at Tom now at your house, and you're talking about you were disappointed that you don't get helicopters, but don't you have a lot of high canopy trees around your house?
Tom had to step away just a moment. Well, he's in Eugene, so I guess it wouldn't be, not so much the trees would be an issue there, but I don't think they'd fly helicopters right into town like that.
Yeah, and see, that's the difference in Chuck and me.
Yeah, we had, I know, when I was a kid, we first moved to, the property in Graham there, Milo, down on the back of our property.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Remember, we had some neighbors, some older couple that lived way back there. And when we first moved there, it was that first summer in 1970 that a helicopter landed back there, and apparently they knew the older people that lived there. They apparently stopped in for a momentary visit, and then they took off. But other than that, we'd see airplanes flying around, but not much else. I mean, it wasn't like, helicopters were coming in there a whole bunch. So it's,
Well, I just thought it was peculiar with my helicopter, this last one, that it actually it was lit up on the bottom like it was spotlighting when it went over.
Now, didn't you say the lights were off and then it turned the lights on over your property?
Well, no, I mean, it kind of gave me that impression, but it just like appeared from behind the foliage out here, the trees. So I never saw it coming. I mean, it could have had the lights on the whole time. I mean, I'm not going to go so far as to say that they just immediately turned them on when I saw it, but I mean, it just all of a sudden just appeared from behind this tree, and I was like, oh my gosh! And Tom and I were literally on the phone talking, and Jessica had already gone back to her room, but I know she thought, she asked me later, what were you doing running around? Because she could hear me running around the house here, from one room to the next, closing this door and closing that, and I guess I did sound like I was on a crazy, in a crazy mood or something, but, it just, I mean, I'm telling you, it just like appeared. And I was just like, oh my gosh, where'd that come from? So.
Yeah,
and it wasn't more than a couple hundred feet off the ground. I mean, it was higher up than the other one that I filmed, but it certainly wasn't that high.
Well, it's just interesting.
Did you ever find anything out about that first one?
I'm sorry, do what now?
Did you ever find anything out about that first one that came over?
Not really, no.
Yeah, didn't TW think that was real estate or something? But it just doesn't fit the picture with what real estate people would do.
He thought that was. Yeah, he thought that was, and he actually, it actually had gone across the road. And remember, I told you what it did when it got across the road, because it hovered over there on that what used to be Post Oak Ranch, and which it is no longer. Evidently, that has been sold to a realtor, and I think I told you that I actually talked to that realtor, and they were kind of ticked off that somebody was out there flying over their property, and because they now own it, and they're selling that acreage off in large tracts, because a GW thought, well, there's somebody's going to come in here with tract homes, and I'm like, that when I talked to her, that completely threw that idea out the window, because she said no, that they were not under any circumstances going to do that, that the smallest acreage that they were selling over there is like 10 acres. and they want to keep that land pristine so that people have the effect that they're actually living in the country, not in a subdivision.
Well, it's certainly interesting.
So,
I mean, I have no idea what's going on.
It was.
How much are those? How much are the smallest plots that they're selling? You said they're like 10 acres.
10 acres is 300,000.
I'm on it. I got 300,000. I'll buy one. I want to see these things.
Well, I'm sure they'll be happy to save you.
Right. And you guys got good restaurants down there in Texas?
Tom, you got to bring.
Oh, honey, we got the best.
You have to bring beans with you, though, Tom.
We got the best.
Oh, okay. I'll bring the a sack of the hard dried navy beads. You can put them in a cannon and shoot them.
They do have a 73 acres over there that you can purchase for a mere $1.75 million.
A mere.
I'm sure you boys have that in your back pocket, right?
Oh, sure.
I'll get 2 of them. Yeah,
2 of them. Tom's Mr. Moneybags.
Well, if you're counting Monopoly money, yes, absolutely.
I'm mad with that Monopoly money.
You know, I had to bring up too for us. There was one of the comments from last week's show. People liked last week's show with the and the fact that you were a MUFON member. So one of the person's questions. I guess I'll save that for the Q&A because. Yeah, we'll do that. I'll just wait on that. Sorry, folks. You have to listen to the Q&A to get that question. I know that was a mean hook. It wasn't actually. It just kind of came to me. I was thinking, oh, this person wanted to know this, so we'll do that here on the next recording. So what's Milo? What's going on up that in your neck of the woods? Any Bigfoot information going on up there?
Nah, we had couple of funerals and crap to go to, so it's been nuts.
Don, the guy from the Navajo Nation, he went back to New Mexico, so he's not up in that area anymore.
Wow. Okay.
Well, it's a lot of his work, the kind of work he does. He moves around a lot for it. So I think at one point he was thinking about buying a house up there by Seattle and moving there permanently, but you know.
Well, it's gone nuts there.
The nature of his job has him, going. You go where the money is, go where the work is. So,
yeah.
Portland and Seattle have gone completely bananas.
Oh, I know that. I live like there.
Oh, I know. When I go up to visit everybody, it's a nightmare. My brother-in-law Bill, he says, you don't want to be on any road by 2 p.m. And it's true. I mean, if you try getting out into and we're talking residential neighborhoods because the traffic spills over throughout all the residential neighborhoods.
Yeah.
So you can't get anywhere.
Just to go up to Scott's is crazy.
Oh, yeah, going up to Woodinville, that's insane going up there.
Yeah, it's like we all got to meet somewhere where it's easy for everybody to drive to and not stress trying to get back. Then you got BLM and Antifa blocking half the friggin' freeways. That's always fun.
Yeah, it's just too many people. Oops, sorry. I was looking at something here, and my phone decided to go crazy on me. So,
Milo, but you are up there. You are in Washington.
Enigma.
Yeah, where you're in an area that has tons of these things. Do you ever get out and about and, go into the, because if you just get off of I-5 east or west a little ways.
Oh, yeah.
Washington State is pretty amazing. Do you ever get out and do that and go looking for these things?
Well,
evidence?
When I was healthy, yeah. And now I finally got my car running. It's fun to drive, so I'll be going out. I'll be taking my kid with me too. So
you got to really,
good.
You got to really get out of the Puget Sound area though, because there's just too many people there, and it's spread out so far now.
Well, it's so bad. The Mountain Highway 7 and Meridian is so bad now.
Yeah.
traffic goes they got developments going all the way up to LB LB.
You know, there were a lot of those areas that we used to do a lot of field work in, and we've had plenty of witnesses, you know, like that grew up out in Spanaway and places like that back when, you know, when we were in high school in the 70s. You know, we've had 2 or 3 witnesses that had encounters out by Mountain Highway. And I suppose, I mean, they could still go through that part of Fort Lewis. In fact, if everybody listened to episode 223, that was posted on Tuesday. No, let me think. Saturday. Sorry, I've got my calendar in front of me. We were posting quite a number of shows during the week now. So, Bigfoot and the Army officer, he talks about, you know, the things that he saw. You know, so if you haven't listened to that, go back and listen to that episode. Really interesting guy and the things that he saw. But anyway, what I was getting around to is that Fort Lewis butts up to Mountain Highway there. So there's a stretch of it that, you know, there could still be stuff going on, but, you know, you don't want to just go wandering out onto the military reservation these days. Not like you could when we were kids, but, you know, back in the 70s, there was plenty of wooded areas around outside of that area too. So, but not so much now because there's just too many people up there and too much traffic.
Yeah. Well, I guess it's Lewis McCord. They've sort of combined.
Yeah.
Yes. They call it JBLM now.
What do they call it?
JBLM, Joint Base.
Lewis McCord.
Oh, okay. Okay. So is it still, because it used to be very wooded. I mean, it's like the second or third largest. Yeah, the base is like, isn't it like the second or third largest Army base in America?
East or west of the Mississippi. Yep.
Yeah, it's huge.
Yep, and if that's even when you include
Yakima,
the joint Yakima firing range, we like to call it Target meets Walmart.
And technically, they've got other pieces of land here and there too. But yeah, they own quite a bit of land. But see, on the military reservation, it's not so built. It doesn't build up like civilian areas do.
No, but they really built it up though.
But you get outside the base, and there's there's stuff that's built up all around. I mean, the creatures still have, you know, an avenue of approach through the Nisqually River area, but I don't know what's going on out there anymore. I mean, they're building out towards Clear Lake and the Bald Hills in that area, and that's where they used to come from, was out that way.
Well, even the Nisqually going up towards Muddy Flats and all of that, it looks like it's Lakewood times Lakewood.
Oh, yeah.
Lakewood, all of that. I mean, there's houses all the way up to the Puget Sound.
And they built heavily out in Yelm and places like that too. So, yeah, it's just all over. I mean,
well,
the creatures just don't have the free run like they used to have out there.
There is a Nisqually National Wildlife area.
Refuge. Yeah.
Refuge. Okay, and it looks like it's just to the east of I-5.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay, and it looks pretty substantial, and then that butts up fairly close to Lewis McCord.
Well, see, it runs off into their what they call that? Their property, their boundaries. It's all on JBLM. Their property. So
yeah, they control all that.
Yeah. And it's pretty cool. I mean, it isn't like they don't let you on. You know, all you have to do is just you go through the main gate, you go in, you sign in and say, what are you going to do? Oh, I want to go take pictures. Okay. But you have to prove that you are who you are. And the only way you do that is you have to have an enhanced driver's license and your passport to go do that crap. Unless, of course, you're retired and you just show up like me and go, ta-da! Hey, Sergeant Rogers, how you doing? I'm great. I am. You know, boy. That kind of. What? What? I'm famously famous. Yes.
Go ahead, Forrest. I hear her laughing.
What?
Well, listen to you guys go on and talk about all the the tract homes coming in and the loss of environment and habitat, is it a wonder that they are increasing in their behavioral patterns that aren't so nice towards humans? I mean, if I was them, I'd probably be wanting to eat as many humans as I can and kill as many humans as I can.
But
just the sheer aggravation of it.
Here's the deal, though. You have to go back a ways now. When they were logging those areas heavily, you had the same thing going on then, and that behavior wasn't really going on. That impacted their living areas much more than where the people are expanding, because there are already people in those areas. So they move.
Yeah, but eventually the loggers went away, though. Eventually the loggers went away, and the lumber companies were responsible as far as having to replant those areas too.
There was an area.
It wasn't like they planted a house out there and stayed forever and ever.
Well, see, that's not.
But that
type of situation.
That's not.
But here's an interesting.
Not really so much of the Puget Sound though, because those areas were already kind of settled. They've just filled in very heavily. And the creatures have other places to expand to. It's not like they have nowhere to go. They have lots of places to go.
Well, and that bad behavior by the creatures predates even European settlers coming in.
It does.
By millennia. They have always.
Yeah, I think the problem is their population is bigger. That's part of why we're seeing more of that.
Yeah.
Well, I agree with you there, but still, if you've got an animal that is predisposed to being that way and acting out towards humans in such a fashion, then you're adding these additional pressures as the loss of habitat, and then their environmental pressures that they're getting. They're going to end up being twice as bad. And of course, we have discussed this and the fact that their numbers are increasing, and we think that a lot of the older alpha males have probably been replaced by males that are less afraid of humans. So, I mean, I think
pissed off at them.
It's a combination of factors. I don't think we can probably point out and say it's just one specific type of situation, but I think it's a combination of factors.
So what you're saying for us is it's our expanding into their, what they consider to be their territory, is exacerbating their already ill behavior towards human. Is that kind of what you're saying?
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Yes. Yeah, and that makes sense.
It makes you wonder how many are going to stick around and cause problems, and how many are going to get out of the area.
Yeah. I still get a kick out of the ones over in Oklahoma that are dipping into the garbage cans, getting the surf and turf.
Well, that happens in a lot of places, though. Not just Oklahoma.
Well, and yeah, exactly. I would be, the area where we go up, and they have next to that little store, there's like 4 or 5 of those big dumpsters, and they have them chained up, but I'd be very curious to see if those things, it's perfect for these things to sneak in at 2 a.m. You
need to call over there and see if they've had any disturbances.
Yeah, exactly. Why do you have them chained up? Well, I suppose arguably they could have them chained up so that the locals don't dump their garbage in there, but it'd be interesting to find out.
Do they have any kind of bears in that area? Because, I mean, we used to chain the big dumpsters in Alaska because bears would actually come in town and go through.
They do. And they've actually had bears right in the parking lot of that store, but still.
But when you stop places, like we stopped and got gas, and it was nothing for the locals, when you come into contact with them, to say, oh yeah, either I saw something or so-and-so saw something, meaning the creatures. And,
everybody there.
Yeah, they're not going to go out of their way to tell you about bears, but they'll talk about these things.
Yes. Yep, they will. Well, and, the groundskeeper at one of the places that we were staying. Now, he wouldn't talk to us. He made it crystal clear he was not interested in sharing it, but he had an encounter with these things. And my wife and I, at that exact same location, we stopped and bought some huckleberries, and the guy there was, oh yeah, I've seen them twice. They threw big rocks at me. Now, that's a repeating pattern. That's a repeating behavior we hear about a lot. Now, these rocks happen to be the size of soccer balls.
Right. Well, guys, we are out of time. This segment flies by.
Well, this was a lively discussion today.
But we were having so much fun.
Well, we'll move on to the Q&A, but we're out of time on this one. So any final thoughts or anything, guys? It's quiet.
Final thoughts. Folks, for the Q&A, for questions and answers, that really is your part of the show. So we want to hear from you. If you had encounters, we have some people who have sent us some encounters. Thank you. We're going to have those on the show soon. And the questions, you have questions about these things, shoot them our way. There are no bad questions. The only bad question is the one that you don't ask. So how do you get a hold of us? It's questions@creekdevil.com.
All right. Well, folks, thanks for sitting around the fire with us, and join us next time.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Creek Devil. If you or anyone you know has had an encounter with these creatures, please contact us at williamjevning@yahoo.com. That's William, Jevning, @yahoo.com. All communication is confidential. Join us for another program next week. And until then,